everyone. Good evening. My name is Adya Yagnik, and I'm a third year law student in the BBA LLB Honors Program.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Upmanyu Banerjee. I'm currently in the second year of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Shrishti Tripathi and I'm at my first year in MBA.
Hi everyone, I'm Ritik Kaliki, second year in Bachelor's of Design.
And today,
We're going to talk about.
How we think.
About the future.
I just want to ask you guys, what do you think and how scared are you about AI stealing your job?
I mean, especially for graphic designers and like designers in general, AI would steal a lot, but also since humans add a lot of emotional touch, I think we're kind of in the safe zone, but also we should be scared that AI might like be on par with us. So that's one thing to worry about.
So, Ritvik, I wanted to ask, don't you feel that AI will be a helping tool or it gonna steal your job? Like, how do you look at AI? Because I
Yeah.
have no idea about the graphic designing, so I really wanted to know, how you guys look into, how AI is helping you out.
I mean, like at times we do use a lot of AI when it's needed, but then in some cases we don't get the necessary outputs that we want. And sometimes there are people who use AI and get better results, but whereas some people use a lot of efforts, use their own creative thinking, and still manage to not get on not get on par. So sometimes it is a little like challenging when we are saying we have to use AI versus AI is going to help us.
I don't believe that AI is going to completely take over anything in my career because, yes, it does help with legal research, with drafting. And even when I structure my research papers or assignments, I do use AI. But also, we have case citations, and AI usually isn't always accurate. So, as you've probably read a few stories here and there where lawyers have used ChatGPT in court and they've just not been accurate. So I don't think it's at risk within the next 10 years.
I truly agree with you.
Okay.
What about you, Shrishti? How do you use AI in specifically in what
Like,
you're
I
doing?
think we have a very similar mindset in terms of using AI. Like, as I mentioned, I'm doing my MBA. So usually there have been times that we have two, three presentation in a day, and creating two, three PPTs all together is quite difficult. So what we do is we create a draft like about how the presentation, like what content should the presentation should have, and later on we use AI tools just to make presentations. But eventually, as you mentioned, of course, AI makes some blunders and we have to solve it out before presenting. And nowadays, it is very easy for our professors to know if it is AI generated or it is human generated. So we have to take care of that as well before uploading it before presenting it in front of our professors.
Yeah, same. I mean, if I were to add to that, I'm really like in my work or like anything I do, I try not to use as much AI because I personally hate it. Not because, it's a good thing, it's a beneficial tool, but I just feel like the human element is so underrated and AI could never replace it. And I mean, my job, literally, like my background says, is to be ahead of the news. I have to be like journalism. So uh, AI uses up to 800 billion liters of drinkable water. So that every time like you send a prompt or like one of those, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but those AI trends on social media that keep
Yeah.
happening. Right? So imagine a single prompt is using up to 500 liters of water, and there are millions of those prompts being used. So just that's just the environment perspective of it. And like Ritvik, I love art. Okay, I love to support artists, and I feel like it can never replicate or show that human emotion in everything, in law, in MBA, in graphic design, in journalism, everywhere. So that's just one aspect of the conversation that I thought we're
True.
gonna enjoy having. I think, I mean, obviously the question stands that where will tech go in 10 years and how will it progress in the next 10 years, considering whatever has gone over the last 1 2 years and with whatever has happened. To give a little insight to that from my perspective, and that's just my personal theory, is that I don't think tech will change all that together, because remember we used to have talks when we were kids that oh, we're gonna have flying cars by 2020, and here we are buying the next Creta or the next Seltos in the showroom. So I don't think the Cretas and the Seltos are flying cars, obviously. So yeah, so in my opinion, in the next 10 years, tech is not going to change drastically. There's going to be improvements on what we already have. What we need to ensure is that we're up to date with it. We can use it well in our respective fields and help each other as much as we can. Again, the human element that we were talking about. So yeah, I would love to hear your insights on it though.
I'll agree, like the change is only the inevitable thing, and adapting to change is very important for us. And as a professionals, it is very important to know what new is coming, and adapting that new technique or the new technology is very, very important for us.
Yeah, to add to that, like the more we adapt to technology, I think it would be more profitable for us. Because, yeah, just like Umani said, 10 years ago, I would think that we would have flying cars, but now getting the latest iPhone with the good camera is like such a huge upgrade. So, in the next 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised if we have even the smallest development and people would still be happy because it is a progress that we're looking for. But the faster it is, sometimes it might not be that good. So, like, as upgraded it is, the slower the better, I say.
Yeah, I definitely believe that we should grow and adapt with AI as it progresses. We should learn how to use it to its full potential to aid us in our respective fields. And personally, because I am a law student, right, I feel like if AI gets too ahead of us, we need to have the right regulations to control it as well, because like there are certain AIs like Grok AI, for example, which is definitely being used right now. It's in the news for uh, unlawful purposes to create inappropriate content. We, especially in India, we definitely need regulations and rules to control that so that it doesn't go ahead, is what I feel.
Do you guys have any questions about just, in general
So
about it?
as we are talking about Gen Zs, so what do you feel like our generation is more open-minded or just we are more vocal?
Um, Personally, I hate the generation talks. Like, I mean, I shouldn't use the word hate. I dislike the generation talks because every time it just reminds me of my mom telling me, "Oh, you're just Gen Z, you wouldn't understand," or "You're just Gen Z, or this." Like, why are you categorizing us? It's a big generation, okay? It's probably like it spans from a huge age gap and all that. And to answer your question, I'd say that we're all different human beings. I don't think generation matters. We all have a different skill sets. We all have a different knowledge sets. And considering the tech talks that we're having, the AI talks that we're having, all we're going to do is adapt to it. Because think of when the first computer came, right? Imagine the generation that faced that. I don't think the AI evolution that's happening is very much similar to that era. And so we're just adapting to it like every other generation. We're just being talked about more because we can talk about it more because of, communication means, again, school of communication. I'm sorry, I keep coming back to that. But yeah, so that's my answer overall.
I think right now, what our generation is doing about like looking at the job market, we aren't necessarily sticking to traditional jobs like working in one company for 40 years the way grandparents or parents did. I think that's good. I think it's good that our generation is willing to explore different avenues in their career and expand their knowledge base because, like you said, we all come with different knowledge sets and we should choose to expand that. And I'm glad that our generation is actually working towards that.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Adya said. So, like our generation, we are more open to trying new things, and that is what I like about ourselves. Like, for example, me, like I might be the only person that I know of from my family who has chosen the designer side of graphic designing. Rest all everyone I know either have businesses, are doctors, engineers, or like teachers in general. So whenever they come up to me and ask questions like, "Oh, you must be so brave trying a new film," and I just say like, if I like something, I'm gonna do it, and if it helps me in the future, then it's gonna help all of us.
So, in regards to what the world will look like and how our generation will lead and be in leadership roles 10 years from now, I feel like there definitely is scope for better improvement. I mean, looking at it from, let's say, a government perspective, for example, I feel like if we get into more leadership roles, we definitely can work towards being more liberal because right now, um, people in leadership positions definitely seem to have a few outdated takes in certain nations, and I feel like we can definitely change that. Like if you look at the recent New York state election, right, Zoran Mamdani, he's done a lot of good things. Like he's promised good things, he's had good policies. I feel like if we work towards that, then yeah, there is a lot of scope for social change, at least, that we can improve on as a generation.
Um, yeah, I mean that's a perfect point, the New York, and of course I got the referencing to what you were trying to say with the outdated leaders in specific nations. So let's not go there. But otherwise we're gonna have a completely, fire theory conversation. But yeah, definitely our generation is really powerful, I'd say, because of the tools that we have been gifted with. Let's look at Nepal's Gen Z protests, like the way they gathered together, and it wasn't even a show of power, the overthrowing. I'd say it was just the right thing to do because from all aspects people can put in all their political views on it. People can villainize our generation saying they went too far, but at the end of the day they did what was needed to be done. And the most weirdest outcome out of this is that the Nepal cricket team is somehow doing so good. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Nepal cricketing. I'm sorry. Like, yes, I love Nepal. I love the Himalayas. That's all I knew about Nepal. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing the Nepal cricket team is doing so good, and that is also due to this overthrowing and Gen Z actively being invested in leadership roles. And if I were to bring up another example, I have this one contact of mine. He is barely a year or two older than me. He has his own company, and the culture there is completely different. The work that they do, they're making good profits, but the work culture, the way they talk to each other, the kindness that they show. I'm not saying it wasn't there in previous generations, but our generation vibes with each other on a much more significant level.
Yeah, no, no, that was very well put. I agree with what you said.
And I'll agree with it. The thing is, our generation is not only concerned about the profit, and we don't have that baggage of, just being successful. We have a mindset that okay, we want if we want to do something, we'll keep on doing it. We'll keep on trying new things so that at the end we know whatever we are doing is like something that we like, something that we can pass on to like-minded peoples. And as you were mentioning, one of your friend running out of business, and I think it's not just profit that is motivating him, but it is more about like his long-term thinking and the
Def-
ethics that he has into him. That is what I think is making him successful.
yep, you're right.
Yeah, I think what Shishi said was like really true because Gen Z people, we really think about the future and the present at the same time. So like that somehow drives us to be more like conscious about what we do, and somehow it unites us in a weird way. So like regarding the world, I feel like if a lot more people like us stand up in positions where we can actually voice ourselves better, then I think um, people around us also would be a lot more open socially, and the world could be a better place. Yeah. So, in all of your perspectives, like, how would you guys think the world would look like? For me, uh, what I would say is the world, as we know right now, there's a lot going on everywhere. Like I open Instagram, I see each country has something going on. So if it would continue like that, obviously there would be a lot of chaos. But I think once people start actually getting into their right minds and right senses and thinking about consequences and actions, then I think we might be leading somewhere where everything is very well structured and much better.
Um, Personally, again, journalism student, I keep bringing that up. I don't like to bring that up, please, but Yeah, if I were to give an inside view, as to what Ritvik said very correctly, that every time he opens Instagram and I open Instagram, I see something or the other happening, which is true, and it's gonna keep happening until the powers that are currently in power, they're gonna keep doing whatever they can. I mean, take Trump for example. He is still gonna continue doing what he is with, for example, Iran and Greenland. He's trying to buy another country. So all this chaos that's being there, the damage is going to be there. So, to answer your question, the world won't be the same. There will be some very, very drastic changes to how the world is. However, we also have to consider from a personal life, it won't be that much of a difference because when we hear of these stories, we are all like, oh, this is happening, but we're not intricately affected by it. At the same time, when we go out, we see for ourselves how the world is. It will be affected, it will be changed. However, the only thing that we need to remember is that we have to face it. So, yeah, I think it's a very good question to ask considering the timing of the situation with whatever's going on. And my personal request from you guys and from myself in this conversation is that just face it. All we have to do is face it.
I think that's very true regarding our current situations right now.
He is a crazy man. So,
The thing is, what actually scares me is how fast the time is going, and how easily things are accessible for us. So that is, I think, one of the reason, like there are climatic change, which is not into our hands again. And every time, as Ritvik was mentioning, we open our phones, we open our social media, there is one or the other disruptions, which again is not in our hands. But I think sustainability in future will not just be like a thing to do, but it will be a necessity for us. Like if we have to survive, we need to take few actions, we need to take few initiatives for us and for our future as well.
Yeah, I agree with what you have said so far. But also, you brought up climate change, Shish,
Yeah.
and I did want to bring that up. I firstly do not feel, I don't know how it'll get better because I feel like as we just overconsume so much, overconsumption is such a massive thing. And you're right, everything is so easily accessible. We keep wanting more of whatever is available to us. So definitely that is a huge problem. And I think COVID was like actually showed us when we were in our houses how, like certain forests like healed, certain, green areas, they got better because of a lack of human intervention, right? So that may go downhill over the next 10 years, is what I feel.
I'll agree with you. Like during the COVID, the climate cycle actually came back to its place, how it used to be earlier. Like within 1.5 year, things were back to normal. Like I'll not say back to normal, but it was better than what it was earlier. So I don't know how to actually like to control it, like how to, as you were saying that we can't improve it, but somehow we have to do something that it doesn't get worsen than what it is now. Because we know the Delhi case, how the air quality index is increasing. We in Hyderabad also, if you see, like the Mahindra University is still safe because yeah, we are at the outskirts, but the city area, the air quality index is very, very high. So it is a major concern for me, I feel.
yeah, coming to that, so I'm actually from Delhi. I live in Delhi, and I was there during the prime, whatever was going on. And let me tell you, it wasn't fun, obviously. Ha ha ha. I was just coughing around here and there, and yeah, but in the next 10 years, the climate will be very bad. So just to give a little insight, and it's a fun fact for you to know, is that so do you know why Trump wants to, quote unquote, buy Greenland? It's because Greenland is a very cold country, and above Greenland, the ocean
Mhm.
is completely frozen. And now with growing temperatures, that ice will be melted away, and so he wants to get access to those resources. So once it melts, the theory is that there's a lot of wealth that's going to be around there, and unfortunately, it falls into the trade routes of Russia. So there could be oil beneath there, there could be gems, whatever it is. And growing climate change is not just about the climate worsening, which it already is. I mean, let's not even talk about polar bears dying of so many polar bears dying. It's horrible. At the same time, geopolitics is also being affected by climate change, which has never happened before. Like these talks of greenhouse gases has been going on since we were in school, right? But then now all of a sudden you're saying that geopolitics is playing a role in it. So again, coming back to that question of in the next 10 years, um, climate change, geopolitics, technology, all these various factors are just going to be on our floating over our head on a completely different level. And let's hope that it isn't too much of a change that we can't handle, because all we can do is handle it because we want to survive. So yeah.
So when I talk about life after, like life from a decade, like, so are you guys nervous about the future? Yeah. Are you guys excited about it? What's your thought on this?
I am definitely nervous. I'm scared if I get a job. That's number one. So that's why I'm going to classes. That's why I'm here, because this ID matters for now. But yeah, jokes aside, definitely I am nervous. We are all human. I think anyone who's saying they're not nervous is in a way trying to cope. But yes, being nervous helps you prepare, in my opinion. So I'm definitely excited and nervous. I'm excited because I know our generation, considering how you guys are doing well in your fields, and how from whatever I've talked with you guys about, and I know you're excited about your future in your field. So seeing that automatically motivates me that there are people around me with the same mindset like me, that I want to pursue my passion. I want to do what I can do that will make me feel like I am doing something that will make me happy. And seeing that automatically motivates me that I can also do something that makes me happy. I can also do something that will benefit everyone around me. So yeah, nervous and excited both in a way. And again, yeah, I just hope I get those marks on my next test. Yeah.
Yeah, even for me, it's definitely a mix of both. I'm definitely excited for my own career, and I definitely do also want to pursue what I actually want to do and what I actually like and what I'm passionate about. So for my own personal development and everything else, definitely I am excited for the world in itself. But I'm also nervous for sure. Like there's always that voice in your head that asks, "Is it going to actually work out?" So you do need to just face it and move on and figure out the best path for yourself.
I'll agree with you, Adya.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, what she said was spot on. Like if you're not nervous, then like you're just either faking yourself or you're trying to hide even bigger fears inside of you. So like regarding me, I'm scared. Like, so what if I don't get a job by like in the next 5 6 years? Or what if people are going to question my like qualifications? What is my family going to say? But then putting all these things aside, if I'm liking what I'm doing, then I don't think I'll be that like contemplating my own life in the future, saying, oh, so was this the right thing to do? So in that case, yeah, I'm kind of nervous, but I think it's a good thing to be nervous right now.
Don't you guys feel like our generation, like in whatever fields we are, earlier it used to be like the competition was very less, but now when we look around, everyone around us is like best in the business. What we are pursuing, even like what we are doing, they can do better than us. Sometimes we can do better than them, but the competition is very cutthroat. So what's your call on it?
Talk about like my profession, so mostly it's communication design. So I have to deal with like filmmaking, graphic designing, logo making, and all these things. So when I first started, actually I'm a BPC student, so I thought I'd become like a doctor, marine biologist, and all that. And then suddenly I found my interest in design. So once I started writing all these exams, I found out that there are more people out there who might be better than me, and sometimes that does make me feel like they're kind of intimidating. But also knowing that there are people who are better than me, so I can learn from them and I could be unique in such a way. So I think that's a good thing to have people like more at this era than not having any people around you in the same field.
I mean, that's a brilliant point what you just said. Like, I completely agree with it. Having more people in the field definitely motivates you. But yes, that comparison is something that even if we say we're not going to compare ourselves, we do subconsciously. It's just human nature to do so. But at the same time, again, talking from a personal standpoint, I think that comparison is the killer of your own capability. Because what you need to remember, what I need to remember, is that I am beating and you are beating your past, and you are doing better than you are yesterday in all sorts of ways, in your professional life, in your personal life, whatever it may be. And so that that comparison that comes, let's say I'm going to a really well established firm institute, and I see the best of the best coming there and doing their work, and I'm losing to them in a way, not losing to them, but doing subpar compared to the work that they're producing. I would like, again, why I found the last statement that Ritwik said so inspirational is that I would rather learn from them. I would rather learn from it, because fear and comparison just makes you work harder. It makes you motivate harder. For example, let's say you're in a sport, you're in a game, and the other person is just dominating you. Initially, you don't just, accept defeat, and like that automatic response is that you don't accept defeat initially. You try to learn, you try to adapt. Adaptation is key, is what I'd say. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with both your points. They were really well put. You should always be able to learn from the people around you versus getting, super intimidated and thinking that, oh, if I'm not better than them, then what will become of me? And then falling into that hole and not actually accomplishing anything. The one thing, at least my parents have always brought me up with what my father always said, is that like everything is a rat race. You just have to learn how to make the race and make your own path. And I've grown up, I'm very grateful that I've gotten to grow up hearing those things. And it's definitely shaped my personal development because I try my best not to compare myself to people. We are all trying to understand what works best for us and our careers. And yeah, you should be able to just learn from the people around you and also teach them what they don't know. Like you said before, everyone comes with their own knowledge sets. So we should be able to learn from each other. And yeah, that's my take. So I'd like to phrase this question to all of you and hear your thoughts first. Uh, we live in a digital age, and that also means that we are tracked and we are monitored a lot more than we were in previous decades. So I wanted to ask all of you, how do you feel about the monitoring of behavior and actions, and how will that help society and its betterment and its creativity?
Human behavior can never be controlled, because we see the throughout history there have been repeated incidents of freedom fights and all that. That is all uh, the result of trying to control the so-called human behavior that we have. And as for what you said, the monitoring, the surveillance that we undergo every day, that is true. I mean, have you all heard of the theory that our phones are never dead? They just listen to us, they look at us, and then it just makes me realize that okay, I'll just throw away my phone for the night. But no, yes. Yeah, surveillance and monitoring is there in our generation quite a bit. It can be used for multiple purposes, both good and bad. For example, CCTVs can be used for security measures. That's completely valid. But at the same time, social media and some apps constantly recording you is not okay. Privacy, especially in this digital age, should not be a myth. It's coming to the conclusion that what, privacy is a myth, and people are talking about privacy being a myth. That shouldn't be a conversation at all. Privacy should is your own, like you should have your own privacy. And so an attempt of controlling human behavior through surveillance and monitoring is just it's an inhumane act in a way. And I don't completely justify it, but it is happening, and I think we should be aware. Just be aware of our surroundings, be aware of the cameras around us. We already are when we go out, just on a more level. So this discussion is quite fruitful. This question is quite fruitful to ask in this scenario.
So actually, speaking from personal experience, I have never like been tracked with those parental controls, but I've had friends whose parents have like had tracking apps or like screen timers on their phone, and whenever they're out with us, and sometimes I see them panic, saying, "Oh, my dad's gonna find out if I use this app, or if I'm on Insta for this much time, he's gonna know." So I feel like putting that kind of fear into someone sometimes isn't good, and also it might prompt them to find other ways to go get around those obstacles, and sometimes it would end like not in a good way. Like, it would cause rifts between, say, the parent or the child, like if they're not truthful to each other. Like, I think in this scenario, trust between like people is like a key to maybe a happy like environment around us. So I feel like sometimes these parental control and these surveillance trackings on our phones, sometimes they feel like a scam in my idea.
I truly agree with you, Ritvik, that it is something that like if all I think all four of us are lucky to not have been going through this, but if we'll see surveillance as a public tool, like the public surveillance that is all around, most of the time it is very helpful. Like we know incidents keep on happening. Like even in our cars, we have dash cams. Why? Because we know if we are into a situation where like we meet with an accident or something, we have a proper proof about like what has happened, who was at fault, and what can be done. So yeah, if it is capturing something which is not hindering our privacy, then for me it's fine. But if it is hindering my privacy, I think I'm not at all okay with it. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. I feel like overall in institutions, or if you look at society as a whole, it is useful, especially in cases, right? Like right now, one of the subjects I'm studying is the Evidence Act. So, what counts as evidence, it is a lot better if something is recorded, right, for accountability. So, in a broader perspective, I do agree with that. But also for parental controls, I definitely agree that personal privacy is a huge thing. I'm also very grateful to have grown up with pretty chill parents. Like they are the ones asking me like, why are you home, why aren't you out? Like I'm chill because they have brought me up with, it's okay what you do as long as you tell us, and I'm very grateful for that. So yes, parents that impose those restrictions on their children will end up raising sneakier kids. So I do agree with what both of you have said.
I mean, to put a political perspective to it, when we talk about governments doing it, we've all seen those spy movies of how, they try to spy on us through these devices. It is actually true. I mean, for example, we don't know what's happening in China, right? Like, imagine we are talking about these parental controls, and yeah, I hate them, and I'm again grateful that none of us here go through that. But then, I think if you're trying to say that this is bad, then we don't even know what's going on in China, right? Where in a communist party where they're constantly being monitored, everything they say, they can't even speak about their government basically, and they can't even be recorded. They can't record much anyway. Their whole TikTok thing is completely monitored on another level. So that that this monitoring and surveillance that we're essentially talking about goes against what our generation stands about. If you think about it, we stand for freedom of expression, we stand for creativity, we stand for free flow, and surveilling and monitoring and these violations of personal privacy go against that, because you can't exercise that creativity, you can't use your freedom of expression if you're constantly being monitored or under surveillance all the time. So free flow and just let yourself out. It's important that we have that personal privacy in today's world, at least.
Have you guys given access to your chat GPT, like access of camera to your chat GPT by any chance? I'm glad because all of my classmates have given access of camera to chat GPT. And I actually saw a video where one of the famous YouTuber were talking about how it is accessing a camera and it can actually watch what we are doing. So it's nice if you guys haven't given access to it.
I'm too big of a fan of. I don't know if you've seen the movies, the Terminator movies. So I'm too big of a fan of it, and I think that theory is personally true. Like the way that the main villain, the Terminator villain, like the reason they were able to hunt down most of the people was because the original AI had access to all the photos and stuff. Although that's a great exaggeration, don't get me wrong. But then I don't want to die tomorrow to a buffed up Arnold Schwarzenegger coming to end me. So yeah, coming to the point, ChatGPT. absolutely not. Not giving access to it is definitely a good point to bring up.
So I think this question might be a little confusing. So based on what you guys think, how would you define trust and faith in your perspective?
Trust and faith. Let's talk about the three, like 10 years ago today, and what it will be in 10 years. If we talk about specifically in that field, 10 years ago, definitely it was much different. I think we were kids. So, and as kids in general, we don't really view trust altogether. We don't even know what it means much. And all we know is that we trust the very little things we know. So we trust our parents, we trust the little bit of friends we hang out with, and all that. And sometimes if someone lies, we don't trust them. So it was quite simple, and it's how the definition of trust works. Today, it works in a completely different principle with the advent of social media. Like, although I'm not the one who would go on a post and comment stuff, but if anyone does do that, they have to be careful of what they say, of what topic they're addressing, who they're addressing, because you never know what happens online. And when we're talking, for example, if I'm talking to you three and I am as I converse more with you, I trust you more. That it's as simple as that. If I meet you in person and have a conversation with you, I would gradually gain trust. So it's in a certain level base. So at level one, I would trust you this much. Level two, I would trust you this much. That's how today works. In the next 10 years, it might be completely different. Media wise, it will be definitely, already it is quite different with what everything being AI. Like I see a reel, and if I, although now I can at least, see that it's AI because of the quality, and we can just, I can't say how it works, but like we can just say that, oh, this is AI. We can identify it. And in the next 10 years, we don't know if we'll be able to identify it. So that trust factor will definitely be, challenged by, again, the advent of AI. Personally, on a personal note, in the next 10 years, hopefully it won't change much. Again, the same structure stands at level one, level two. The more we talk, the more we trust. I am scared about the AI part. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I definitely want agree with you and want to add on to that. I am not skilled enough to see what is AI sometimes and what is not. I will see a reel, and if I'm really tired or I've had a busy day and I come home and see it, right, I have to look at it three times before realizing that it's AI. Because honestly, if you look at AI images even 2 months ago, right, the ChatGPT generated, and if you look at them now, there is such a difference, especially on social media. They are so realistic. And so many of my friends, even while watching any video or reading anything, uh, they also cannot tell sometimes if an influencer or if someone speaking in presenting a news article, whether that's fake or not. So it definitely is scary if you look at it. And I think 10 years from now, I do not know. I will not be able to predict and tell you how it will be. I personally believe it will only get worse. So,
As Adi was mentioning, even I have that issue. Like sometimes it is so well generated that it is very difficult for me to identify whether it is AI generated or is it a real video. So in that perspective, yeah, trusting all these videos are like kind of very difficult for me. But there's the other perspective as well. Nowadays, there are so many news and that have been circulating on social medias. For our parents, it is circulated through WhatsApp, and they trust it. They are like, okay, this is happening. I got a message on the WhatsApp. So I think in like how the social media is evolving, how the AI is evolving, it will create blunders for us, and I think it will also be very difficult for us to even find out whether it is true or not. So I think it will get worse only in future, like after 10 years or maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah, actually, to add on to what you said, like 10 years ago, trust would be between two friends, be like, trust me, bro, like I know this stuff. And now we have to like trust our own self whether what we're doing is right, whether the AI is real or not. And in the future, we probably have to trust our mind and soul to put like efforts into something. And this, like every generation that we go through, like a simple word as trust, like could change this drastically. Like I think it's kind of weird and like also like very astonishing that how we work in thoughts of like thinking and how we process life. So I think that's very cool in my way. So to actually like elaborate it properly, say like 10 years ago I was 9, and during that time, say I have a conversation with my friend and I tell him, "You can trust me," and that word "you can trust me" would be enough for him to completely believe me, like be like a ride or die type of situation. And 10 years later, nowadays, if we have to build trust with someone, we have to make sure whether they're actually telling the truth, or we find out from other people if they're telling the truth. We sometimes go do background checks, like every, like say every decade that we pass on, the number of, like, it becomes like a two-step verification that we have to do for trust also at this point. Like we don't know how much to believe and what to believe. So like it's kind of like very weird and astonishing that um the simple word trust that we know has this, like these many layers behind it, and how much we have to go through to actually believe someone or believe something.
Today's world, and considering what's going on around us, yes, I mean, I would not like to be distrustful. I don't want to judge anyone, but it's just that we value our own safety, because I'm sure everyone, has had some sort of taste of what lies and what distrust has done to us in a way or whatsoever, or anyone around us for that matter. I would hope not, definitely, that it escalates when we talk about distrust and lies right now. But in general, again, I would like to be trusting. I would like to talk to as many people as I can. I would like to trust them as a person. I would like to believe that they are a good person, and I do. I still do. But somewhere earlier, I used to do it even more. Now, because of whatever has happened online, offline, whatever it may be, is just in general, definitely society has made you more distrustful, not on a negative note, but just for your own safety and the safety of people around you, it just makes you a little less, believing towards the other person. I don't know though. I mean, maybe you can help me convince this to myself.
I mean, for me personally, I have always been very trusting. Like, I've been very open with everyone. Like, even talking to all of you, I'm not uncomfortable. Like, I like the conversation, right? I've always been very open and very friendly with people. I am mostly an extrovert. But I have always kept my guard up. I think at the back of my head, I always do have a backup plan. Like, okay, if I trust someone with this, what is the likely chance that they will, like, do this? And if they do, because I'll always have that voice in my head that says, if they do, what can you do about it? And only if I have a solution to that, I will trust them. So I think I've always been a little innately distrustful. But I'm sure not everyone is like that. I have just had that in my head. And I feel like we should definitely be cautious as the world is evolving, and as our personal relationships are evolving with people. And when we are all in university, we keep making new connections. So while it's good to be open with people and have new connections, you should also be careful who you let very close to you, is what I feel.
To add what Adya said, yeah, I think what he said was completely true. Like, I'm very like easily trustable, or like I easily trust people a lot. So sometimes there are days where I have to make my own two-step verification to whether to know that am I, whatever I'm doing, is it like worth doing what I'm doing, or whatever I'm doing, does it make sense to my own self? Like, so there are some days that I would not even trust my own self, and there'll be days where I'm like, I'll trust my own gut, and that will lead me to probably a right decision. And sometimes I would be like, okay, I trusted the wrong person, so what do I do now? So that kind of a dilemma these days, I think it's been happening a lot. So yeah, I think the world around us does make me feel distrustful sometimes.
All I want to say is that we should not be distrustful, but yeah, we should be very cautious about how things are around us, how people are around us, so that actually we have a backup plan. Like if things goes wrong, we should know how we have to react. So that's all I want to add.
And none of it is a negative thing. It's a good thing to be a little
Yeah, we
good.
should be open for everyone, but yeah, we should be cautious as well.
Exactly.
Not every time things will be aligned as how we want it to be.
Like what he said, having your own two-step verification, it's a good thing. You shouldn't have that.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So then, when you see these, like, just a doubt, like when you see these so-called AI reels and you see a random thing being AI, what do you think? Like, how do you adapt to it, or how do you what goes through your mind when you see these things, basically?
Well, for me, sometimes it depends. Like if it's kind of like a fun type of reel, I would just not care about it. But then sometimes if it's like misinformation, then I would like start having my own doubts saying, so like say there are two, three accounts posting the same thing, but they have different versions of each thing and all three of them are AI. I would fall into this loophole of confusion saying, so which one am I supposed to trust? So there I think raises a few alarms and concerns.
I'll agree with Ritik. Like as far as Ritik, like as far as it is funny and it is not harming anything or anyone, I have no issues with it. But you know the trend that came up in 2024, the Ghibli trend. So I have been a very big fan of Ghibli art, but later on when I saw that trend, I was actually very disappointed because people were like, I know the artist takes so many time to just create that one particular frame, and the movie is for like for a 3 hour or so, and that one particular frame takes so much time to just create it, and through AI, people were like, it was very easy for them to create that one photo. So for me, it's like if it is exploiting a talent, I would definitely not appreciate it or suggest it. Okay, use it. So I was the only one in my friends group that didn't went through that trend of creating that Ghibli art. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
I mean, same, yeah. I also didn't do that trend. I love Ghibli, and the way, like, that artist is just legendary. You can't recreate legendary in for a, pardon my language, but a little stupid trend. Like, you're gonna recreate
Yeah.
a legendary artist's whole life work and his talents and his creativity, his creation. You are it, you were in a way mocking it by recreating that. But in general also, like when I see some certain, for example, I don't know if you've seen those, but those Ronaldo, Messi AI things that keep popping up on my feed, like I'm just, how is this funny? It's just AI. And so yeah, I really do not like that particular side of it. Yes, AI is this, yes, AI is that, and I'm tired of hearing how good it is, how beneficial it is. But I think people should start talking more about the bad side of it. So
Yeah, to add on to that, I would actually like to ask a question. Do you think that because of AI and generative images and everything, people are sort of lacking awareness in what they share or what they post on social media? Like, say, for example, there's so many generative AI videos, right? I have seen parents, especially new parents, put videos of their children in that, and that just is something I cannot stand. Like, that's just something makes me really uncomfortable because that is a child and it's really dangerous to put that out there. And I feel like because of artificial intelligence and how easily we can make all this content, people aren't really stopping to think. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I mean, yeah, that's a good question to ask, considering how we're talking about how we see the future, and we're seeing the future, being at least the media part of it, or online presence being what it is with generative images, and it's just scary. Like I saw what you just said, like about the baby thing, and it was just like, why would you do that? I don't understand. And yeah, definitely. In the future, it's just the sad part is that it's just gonna get more powerful at the end of the day, and it's gonna get even more potent. It's gonna create even more realistic images, generate even more realistic ideas, and so again, yeah, like the bad side of it, the negative side of it needs to be highlighted so that people have awareness about it at least. So if they have awareness, they won't post stuff like these. But if they don't, and if they don't understand how it works, then this is going to continue. And in the future, we're going to see people we don't even know having a lot more online presence. So guys, we've been talking way too negative. We've been talking about bad things constantly. I mean, when we talk about the future, and we just talked about nervousness and excitement. So coming back towards that side, let's be a little positive. Let's joy bait each other a little more. Um, how do you guys? What are you looking forward to in the future? And for me personally, if I were to answer that question, I'd say I'm looking forward to at least world peace being a thing. And I'm just tired of war and chaos. I'm not experiencing it, so I have no right to say it. Don't get me wrong, and I don't even want to say how horrible it all is. But I'm looking forward to world peace. I'm looking forward to how we accept each other even more. For example, this conversation that we're having, I feel like we're accepting each other as individuals, and it's really fun to be able to speak in an environment like this. And I hope it for everyone. Just to bring up an example of it is like my favorite streamer. I'm pretty sure you heard his name. Is this guy called Aisho Speed? um I don't watch his streams personally, like I don't just sit and watch his streams, but what he's doing right now these days is quite inspirational. He's going to countries himself, and he's uniting people literally just by streaming, just by being nice to them. This simple aspect of being nice to people, it unites people on a much stronger level. And so what he's doing, I have been taking example of it. In the nearby future, I would hope that little by little I've seen people saying thank you after they get something from the waiter, after they order something, thank you, saying thank you to the next person who's working for you, your cleaner or whoever it may be. So I'm looking forward to in the future that people start accepting each other, people start being kinder to each other, and definitely I feel like there's a lot of potential in each and every one of us in some way or the other there is. And so I hope for everyone to find a way to utilize that potential, because I know like all this negative talk makes us forget that the world's not going to end. Let's be honest, it's not going to end. It is going through a certain change which every generation has gone through, which every era has gone through. We have to accept that change, and all we can do is try to make that world better, which I'm positively sure it will happen with people like all of us.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The world is not going to end. And I also feel like we should, even pushing aside career goals and everything for personal development, and I think we should just look forward to the little things, because that's what keeps life going, right? You look forward to each day as it comes. Like, you can have any goal you choose to. Like, I want to go cliff diving before I turn 25. Like, I've had friends do that. Um, I definitely want to travel more. I want to experience more things. We all have something to look forward to. We've been talking negatively about the world as a whole, but I feel like for each of us, for our personal development, we all do have something to be excited for. That's why we're still here. That's why we're still pushing and trying to achieve our dreams so that we can have those experiences.
Yeah, I think for me, the most I'm excited is uh, my meeting new people, finding more hobbies or learning new skills every day. And also, one of the big things I would be looking forward to is probably like um, having a space where people are very open to each other, and like being in a society where we don't just look down on others, but we also look up to people and learn something from them.
For me, what excites me the most is that every day I'm learning a new thing. Every day I'm around thousands of people, and each of them have their own point of view. And with those point of view, I'm getting to learn a new perspective. I tend to look at things with a new perspective. And of course, like what I feel is as an individual, being around just 5 to 10 people, I think I can't grow at a pace to what I'm growing now when I'm around so many people. So that is one thing that excites me a lot. That okay, and in our generation, we believe in growing all together and not just growing all alone. So that is one thing that excites me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the little things we should be excited about. I was like, just to add on to my previous answer, I was all about world peace. So I sounded a bit like, trying to be a hero or something. But no, I'm also excited for the little things. Buying my first bike, or going out with friends, having a nice cup of coffee. All these little things. We talk about this AI, we talk about these leaders doing this or that, but we know that, you know what, there's something nice that's going to happen. So yeah, let's just wait for these nice things to happen. I'm sure it will. And let's have faith in the future, is one of my favorite things. So yeah.
Imagine that this is a time capsule and you'd like to talk to yourself 10, 15 years in the future. What message would all of you like to leave for yourselves to view when you are about 30, 35 years old?
I mean, let's say if I'm talking to myself in 30, I'd just say that I hope you know, are doing well. I think it would be very awkward, first of all. So I wouldn't know exactly what to say. But at the same time, I just think that in the next 10 years and when I'm 30, I just hope that I'm pursuing my passion. I don't forget what it is I love. Just to give some insight, like I love playing basketball. So I just hope that, I'm in somewhat way playing basketball. I am a heavy family man, so I'm sure I must be taking care of my family, doing what it is I love, just being a nice person as much as I can, because the world could use a more nice people at that age. And so then I would jokingly say, "Why are you so old?" And yeah, I just say, be a nice person, do what it is you love. I hope you're still playing basketball. I hope you're still a family guy. And yeah, life is too big to wonder about what's. I think the advice I would give him is that even though you're at this age, just remember that there's a long way to go now. Just keep doing what it is you love, and remember what you loved back 10 years ago. Remember what you were back 10 years ago. Learn from it, evolve from it, and keep doing it is what you are. So
Well, what I would tell my 30-year-old self would be that I hope you're still dancing, still cooking, still gardening. I hope you finally published the book that you've been writing. I hope you still have a lot of friends. You keep going out, probably married with kids, and hope you're enjoying life. And hope you're getting a lot of sleep because your 20-year-old self isn't getting a lot of sleep due to assignments. And I hope you have like just a fun life that you go around. Hope you're still taking care of your animals. I hope you love everyone around you and you do not judge anyone around you. Yeah, that's it.
It is actually very difficult for me to even think like what I'll be after 10 years. But yeah, the only thing I'll be focusing upon is people around me are happy. People who are connected to me are happy. Like I'm nowhere doing anything which is actually disappointing them or maybe putting them into a situation where they'll question like why are they even connected with me? So that is one thing that I think I'll be telling myself, okay, whatever you are doing, I want you to be the best in the business. How will you achieve that? By eventually learning every day, by eventually growing and trying to solve what you haven't done back in 10 years. So yeah, that's all.
I think if I had to speak to my future self, I would firstly say that I hope you stop being so rigid and started to be more flexible, because I'm not a very flexible person. For context, for today itself, because I had such a busy day, I chalked out my day by the hour using like a scheduling app, like including this interview. Like I've always been very like everything has to go according to the way I planned it in my head. So I really hope that when I truly discover what exactly I want to do with my career and the way my career is moving, that I've learned to go with the flow. So that is definitely something I would say to my future self. And I genuinely hope I am happy with my personal friendships, my relationships with my family. I'm also very big on family and very close to my family. So that is also a personal goal that I wish for myself. And I hope I'm doing well and I'm very well educated. I get all the degrees I want and I do very well professionally. So I also hope that I have all the experiences that I want to have. So that would be my message to when I'm 30.
So yeah, and one last thing I would say to my 30-year-old self is that I hope you're in Thailand. So because I love Thailand.
So this was Friday Forum.
Thanks for watching.
Please follow EdexLive.
And like, share, and subscribe.